Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. Thank you so much for joining our Ask Me Anything webinar for our second Catalyst cohort. We are joined by Julio Flores, who is the Senior Director of Business Development for IAI, Nate Mason, who's the Director of our Catalyst program, and then myself, I'm the Program Manager. We're going to start with Julio providing a bit of background on IAI. So Julio, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. So just a little bit about IAI. Israel Aerospace Industries is the largest defense contractor in the state of Israel. But one of the unique and innovative things is that over 75% of the goods that IAI produces goes global. It's a very stable company. It's had a great last 3-4 very profitable years. And when it comes to developing and deploying technology, it stands to be at the front line of a new innovative product out to the markets. In general, defense technology does take a lot of time through research, development, testing, proving, and then full-scale deployment. IAI has historically been able to, through its channels, deploy technology and get it out to end users faster. As you can see in this slide, the reach of IAI end users and customers is global. And that not only transcends to its product line, but its supplier network, its investor network, and its partners. Next slide, Victoria. So what composes IAI? IAI is largely made up of 4 verticals. The aviation group, which does both commercial and military goods. They do conversions, passenger to freighter conversions, such as for commercial use, such as planes flown by Amazon or FedEx. They also do structured production. The Gulfstream G280 is an IAI product that was made not only from research, development, and design in collaboration with Gulfstream, but the whole bird is put together in Israel. And it also produces aircraft components for military use, such as the wings for the F-35, the forward fuselages, rotor blades, and other items. We also have Alta Systems, which is our advanced radar and intelligence vertical. They have some of the world's most advanced radars, both land, sea, and air. They also have a strong focus on cyber applications. Our military aircraft group is all things unmanned, not only unmanned UAS, but also land and subsurface or maritime solutions, which allow for a lot of not only warfare applications, but ecological research, development, research, biological research, forest firefighting, and mission sets of that nature. And last but not least is our space and missile systems, which on the military side does have a focus on missiles and payloads, and it has a broader application in terms of space applications, satellites, anything that goes extra orbital. These 4 verticals compose an umbrella of what participants in the Catalyst program have access to, touching the commercial and military sections, not only to the IAI direct needs of the company, but also to its extended end user base around the world. Now I'll turn it over to Nate to talk a little bit more about Starburst.
Thanks, Julio. So Starburst, we're an early stage innovation firm. You can think of us as providing 3 different types of services. We do consulting, we do accelerators, and we have a venture fund. I'll focus today more on the accelerator side because that's where we partner with IAI to power the Catalyst program. But essentially what we've done in the past decade or so is innovate with startups at the pre-seed and seed stage of the funnel with at the intersection of aerospace and defense. Most of the companies that we work with are dual use companies that are able to sell into both markets, the commercial and defense market. And as you can see here on this slide, each year we scout about 1,500 startups. We've invested in over 140 to date, and we've worked with partners throughout the entire ecosystem. Next slide, please. Here's some examples of the different styles or different programs that we've operated around the globe. So Starburst, we're not only a U.S. Accelerator company, but we also have a presence around the world in Paris, Singapore, South Korea, Tel Aviv. And so you can see here the name of some of the programs that we've operated in just in the past few years. The one thing I think that gives us an advantage is that our programs are bespoke in nature, so we're able to customize them depending on the nature of the needs of the partner that we're working with. And so for Catalyst, we'll see, we'll dive into more details about how this particular program is customized. Next slide. So for the IAI Catalyst Accelerator, it was designed with researchers and entrepreneurs at heart. So some of the key program objectives of this accelerator program is to advance technologies within the aerospace and defense sector, also to help startups, meet unmet industry needs, to help drive innovation forward, and help them shape the technologies to solve like real world problems. As you can see here, startups are also able to mature their technology readiness levels, and they're able to be part of an innovation hub developing in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. Next slide, please. I'll give it back to Julio to describe some of the verticals that we're focused on.
Thank you, Nate. So one of the things that IAI does is frankly everything. From, like I said, from research and development through execution and deployment. These 4 areas of trusted AI, autonomy, quantum science, sustainability, and energy tech and space tech are areas that we see a lot of promise in, that we're looking to develop, especially and help incubate U.S. technology companies. And this is not only limited to product, but also processes, payloads, and auxiliary items in these spaces. We like to encourage companies that feel that they might have an interest or a potential application to apply and engage, because what we bring to the table is a deep understanding of the end users, especially in these 4 areas, and we can help shepherd a lot of startups and smaller companies, not only to the right customer set, but to the right problem set. We often see great ideas that are focused on the wrong problem set, and that's where things get a little bit rocky. But IAI is more than 15,000 employees, 5,000 of which are engineers. And those resources are available to startups in these areas, or that could contribute to these areas, because it's going to help bridge not only ideas and products, but fine-tune the same. And then we take it over on the business side, where we can provide direct exposure to end users and thought leaders in these respective fields. Nate?
Next slide, please. So here are 4 of some of the key activities that will be occurring during the accelerator program. We kick it off with a kickoff week, where we have workshops and lectures and industry experts coming in to talk with all of the founders and really just help them level set at the beginning of the program, so that way we're all on the same page and we're moving forward in the same direction. We have the same priorities and goals. Over the course of the program, we have office hours. You will meet weekly with members of the Starburst team, and on the opposite week, you'll meet weekly with members of the IAI North America and global team. And these conversations are focused around 2 objectives. You have strategic priorities on the business side that Starburst assists with, which is fundraising, business development, connecting with expert mentors, marketing support, go-to-market strategy, all of the things that startup founders need help with in the beginning. And on the IAI side, it's all focused around the pilot program at the end. And then just continuing through this, we're also going to help you with your pitch sessions, so that way you're ready to go during your fundraising. And then lastly, networking opportunity. There's a ton of networking opportunities throughout the entirety of the program, including at the beginning and at the very end. So it's a really, really robust program that we've designed here to help founders key in on their priorities and really accelerate the development of their technologies and their traction. Next slide. Here's some of the key benefits of the program. So there's a $100,000 cash investment from IAI, the partner, that occurs in the program. There's robust fundraising support. You'll get access to all of Starburst's network of investors, and those introductions are made over the course of the program. There are, let's see, access to the U.S. office. So IAI North America has, it's headquartered in Herndon, right outside of D.C. They set up an innovation center, a hub down there where there's office space for you to come in person, to work out of those office space, to interface with personnel in person, and just take advantage of that. And Julio can add more to that. But these are some of the key benefits that we wanted to highlight that startups get. There are more to the program than just this, but these are the high level benefits. Julio, I don't know if you want to add anything to this slide.
Well, I think another key benefit that startups will derive from the Catalyst program, both on the Starburst and on the IAI side, is access to a global network. It's innovation's happening everywhere, and something that we've noticed as we do this is that problem sets and problem solutions are global, and the connectivity that a program like this provides to help network not only with subject matter experts, but with other companies in your same ecosystem, really creates unbound potential for evolving and growing. And I think that's one of the key factors of being part of a program like this, being able to have a challenge or a problem set or a product, and eventually collaborate with others that can move your idea forward.
Next slide. So this is the dedicated program team. So Victoria and I are on the Starburst side, and you'll have some in-house technology experts that reside in Herndon. So when you go in person during kickoff week, midpoint check-in, demo day, all of those things, you have access to these people as well to help you really advance your technology and business forward. And I think that's all we have for this slide deck. Let's see, make sure. Next slide. So yes, so before we open it up for questions, just want to put this on the screen. If you haven't applied, really encourage you to apply. That QR code will take you to the URL for the application. Obviously, if you have any questions, we would love to open up the chat right now for questions. But if you're not comfortable, or if you don't have any questions right now to ask, please follow up with either Victoria or myself, and we can answer those for you.
Nate, I have a question. Can you talk a little bit more about how the safe is structured?
Actually, I'll leave that one to Julio. Well, what we've taken is an open-ended approach to look at each startup individually and make a determination on what the right fit is. I know that they're standard safes, and Nate, if you want to talk about that more, but what we're looking to do is really a tailor-made approach for the startups that we select. We know that one size doesn't fit all, and we also are operating in a very interesting space where your standard venture capital firm or investor group may be looking more closely at the numbers, while we have strategic goals and objectives that where the numbers become a variable, but it's not the sole thing that we're focused on. So it allows us to be more flexible and agile in the deals that we structure with the individual startups.
Yeah, and there's a question in the chat that asks, do we take equity in exchange for joining the program? And that is correct. There is equity that is taken. I believe it's a standard safe note industry rate, and we can talk more about that if you're selected to move forward in the program. But it's typical, like 4 to 7% per safe that of equity that's taken, which is pretty industry standard. There's another question here. Can companies that have revenue already apply? Yes, that is just fine if you have revenue and traction. In Cohort 1, we have a variety of startups. I believe all of them have revenue, if I'm correct. So yes, we're looking for pre-seed and seed stage companies. If you have revenue, that's not an issue at all. We can help you still in this program. Were there any other questions, Victoria? You know?
Yes. Does the founder have to be present in Herndon?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's a hybrid style format. So there are required dates that the founder or founders must attend. That's during the selection committee if you're selected, right? There's going to be a pitch for that. It's kickoff week. There's a midpoint check-in and there's a demo day. Outside of that, everything else is run remotely. So you will be able to operate from your home base, wherever that may be in the US. But again, like the other dates or events that I mentioned, it's required that the founders attend in person.
And to add on to what Nate said, IAI North America does have an innovation center in Herndon. So if you're traveling or happen to be in DC, you will have an office where you can post up, shop there, and do some work. So you'll also be able to go in person if that's something that the founders choose to do.
And I see there's another question about if a company doesn't have revenue or commercialized product, are they able to join the program? So there are a case by case. We're going to look at each startup case by case basis. But if you've incorporated in the US and you've started your company and you're at the very beginning of pre-seed, I don't see why that would be an issue. If you haven't incorporated and you're still in like a research phase where you haven't established your corporation yet, sorry to repeat myself, then I'm unsure of how we would move forward with that particular selection. But it is something that I would still encourage you to apply because there is a possibility that you still may be able to join the accelerator program.
Yeah, and just to add to that, that's part of the flexibility that I was talking about earlier. I think at that juncture, if it's a good idea or a project, it becomes a separate conversation on the best way to proceed. Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is create an environment where those ideas can grow, where you as a founder are allowed to take it in a positive direction, and that we can all make use of it. So, like Nate said, I think it's the answer is it depends, but we strongly encourage that to consider Catalyst.
Yeah, and if it's a really good idea and you're we're interested in it during the selection committee, you'll be in person, so you'll be able to talk more about this idea, the roadmap, the vision that you have for it, with not only my team and Julio, but also like senior leaders from IAI that will be there in person. So it's a really good opportunity to get in front of some executives at a defense prime that has channels throughout the world, and really present the idea that you want to work on. Okay, great. I'm checking the chat. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I really appreciate everyone joining today. Thank you, Julio, for providing an overview of IAI. That was really informative and helpful. Thank you, Victoria, for coordinating all this, and Alana in the background. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, everyone.